Well, this is behind the scenes look at Scarface. Many of you already know that I and Al Pacino had a sit down one-on-one in Las Vegas at the one night with Pacino, and I got to go backstage and talk to Al. And of course, we talked at great lengths about films, and Scarface, of course, that's the one a lot of people ask questions about. I didn't have any questions really too much about Scarface, because Scarface to me is like, it's okay, but it's not one of my favorite films. But it's iconic because of all of the lines that Tony Montana dropped throughout the entire movie. Every line is so quotable, it instantly became a all-around, like, line-o-rama, cult film that it shocks even Al to this day that, like, wow, this movie is, I can't believe it. I thought it was a fun movie to make. It was a fun, adrenaline, exciting movie, but he never thought it'd be going on 20, 30 years later, people still talking about Scarface. Then it found a new audience with the African Americans who grew up watching Scarface and idolized it and memorizing it and using the lines, and they got the Scarface posters, Scarface jackets. It was a whole new Scarface movement with memorabilia. So everybody got it to have Tony Montana, and everybody was rapping and calling themselves Tony Montana. Scarface. So there were new developments behind the scenes of Scarface that people didn't even know about, and I wanted to talk and elaborate on that for a moment. The original book that came out in like the 1930s or 40s, Scarface, based on this Cuban refugee, came over when Fidel Castro, which happened in real life, emptied the prisons of all the most ruthless killers in Cuba and sent them on a boat to America. Sent all of them in boatloads over to America. And be like, look, y'all taking in all the refugees from Cuba? Take them. Take all the criminals that we got out of Cuba and go over there. So America was flooded with all these crazy, psychotic Cubans. And then some of them were political prisoners. So Scarface tried to portray himself as a political prisoner, even though he had fought in wars in Cuba. He was in the military. He also was in a relationship romantically with his sister in the original script. So when they came over to Cuba and got their papers or whatever, the mom is working and the sister's there, and Tony Montana gets there, and he was in prison in Cuba when last time they seen him, and the mother just knows him as bad. Like, he's bad, he's like his father, he's just bad. So when she comes over there and sees Tony and sees everything he's doing and all of this stuff, everything that he's doing, he wanted to show his mom, like, I'm a successful businessman. He couldn't sustain. And that's what Al was like. The reason why he liked playing the character, because he's so much fun to play, because he never follows anything. He tries to fit in and conform, but he can't. He doesn't know how. So everything he gets involved in, it's going to blow up, because he doesn't know how to be contained. You can't put him in society, put him in a box and just say, oh, he's a businessman, he does real estate investment. That's going to be fun for about 2 weeks for Tony. But for Tony's going to get into something else, and it's going to be crazy. He can't be contained in one bubble. And that's what made him self-destructive. And you see people like that. They're out their comfort zone. How many people you've seen, the hustlers from the neighborhood, who make their money hustling and doing what they do, then turn around and be like, yo, I'm going to get a big house, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and then they go get a big house somewhere, and then they be like, man, I can't deal with this. This suburban life, it's all quiet, ain't no people I mess with out here. And now I'm going to the grocery store, and it's, oh, hey, how you doing, sir? It's just not what he expect. It ain't live. You know, he like to be where the action is. So next thing you know, they back hanging out in the hood because that's what they know. They can't be in that conformed bubble. And a lot of people can't live like that. And if you can't live like that, then, you know, and conform and with boundaries and rules and all that, Tony was a live wire. If he couldn't do nothing, pay it off. He didn't understand the concept of him being caught on film doing trading for money. I'm just trading some dollars. That's it. That's nothing. Pay the fine, and I'm not going back to jail. That was his whole thing, is I'm not going back to jail. He forgets rules. He forgets boundaries. Even with Sosa. When the hit didn't go down, we do it in a couple of weeks, set it up, we'll get it done. It's like, no, now he's got security. You know, we can't do it. Nah, I told you, I'm not finna do it with no wife and kids. I'm not gonna have that on my life. Told you, he wouldn't listen. Your buddy had a listening problem, so I had to cancel his contract. So, a lot of different things happened though while filming the movie. Like Al Pacino told me himself, how he had like 2nd to 3rd degree burns on his hand because he reached during the shootout scene at the end where he's shooting down at the guys. He reaches back for his gun that he's just shooting all these rounds on. He reaches back for the gun, and him not knowing anything about a gun. To this day, Al Pacino knows nothing about a gun. For real, he doesn't know how to hold it. Nothing. He knows nothing about guns. Period. Al Pacino reached back, grabbed his gun that he was just firing all these rounds on, grabs the barrel and burns his hand. So when he burned his hand, they was like, oh man, he had to go to the hospital. He's wearing the outfit that he just did the shootout scene in. So he's got blood everywhere, blood all over, all the fake blood. He's in the hospital with a burned hand. Everybody see him come in. And oh my God, where's he hit? Where? What's going on here? He's I burnt my hand. Yeah, so we was cracking up laughing. He's telling everybody the stories, man. We dying laughing. And Manolo, the actor that plays Manolo, there was a lot of controversy in the film because people were like, look, you need to audition, you know, these other actors that we got on the list. You know, the studio requesting that you do this. And Martin, who represents Al, was a big force in the business. He was the producer. And when he gets things done, he gets it done. He tells you what it's going to be, and that's it. Martin doesn't take no crap. So when they try to tell Martin what he had to do by union rules, he said, you know what? All right, we're going to give him a fair shot. We're going to let all these people audition. We're going to waste time. We're going to waste money doing this because he's like, I'm not picking these actors no matter what. So the union was like, look, I'm telling you what you gotta do. I got a crack in my glass? How did that happen? No, that ain't a crack. I'm gonna crack somebody's skull. How did this happen? Okay, that ain't a crack. But after the film, and they're going through the process of these actors, and they seeing them, and they had some impressive actors. And I think they even brought in Tony Danza. I'm not 100% positive on that, but they were saying names. I didn't know a lot of these people, but they were bringing in. But he told the actor that played Manolo, he said, "Hey, learn this part. We got to go do some stuff here that we got to go through. But you are playing Manolo, okay? So go ahead." Learn this part, get it down. They gave him the script, gave him everything, told him just be quiet, learn this script. You are playing this part. So, on that note, That led to the epic Scarface that you've seen before, and now there's supposed to be an even bigger, better Scarface on the way. I know some details about it, but we'll wait until that time comes. But I just want to tell you certain facts in there. And was Al really snorting cocaine is the number one question people asked during this whole thing, and that is not real cocaine. I don't want to let anybody down. It's some type of lactate powder. So yes, he is sniffing it. It's no special effects. He is sniffing that. And it's some type of powder. Like, it goes in, it's like lactate. Something for your, and that stuff, Al hated snorting that. He's like, I wished it was real cocaine. That stuff messed with my nose. He's like, you know how many takes I had to do when I'm sniffing that stuff? He's like, one of the scenes where I turned my head real fast, he's like, that stuff hit me. Like my God, what are they putting in this powder? This stuff is not even supposed to have an effect. But my goodness. Al was funny, man, making this film. And Brian De Palma, how Brian was like, this is like the first real serious actor he ever really worked with in this film was Al Pacino, you know. So for him, Brian De Palma was like, this can't go wrong. And Oliver, he was just hoping that Oliver Stone didn't weird out Pacino with his Oliver-isms, you know, because Oliver could be over the top. He could be in one day and he's like really positive, the next day he's so negative and down, and you know, it's just a big old mess. But anyway, I gotta roll. Y'all take a good time and enjoy the day. Don't spend all day on YouTube, but since you're here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. I'm out.